Typically, all forms of visual art have a stagnant point of view. Visual art, like paintings, don't move, and therefore can only be viewed from the standpoint that the artist gives you. In video games, each genre of game has a specific point of view. And of course, there's theater, where the audience sits in one of many seats in the audience, and the actors and actors have to make sure that the audience members can accurately view all parts of a scene, every single one of them. This is how film was for a while too. A stagnant camera meant a stagnant point of view. But as the medium progressed, so too did its perspectives. Today we will be discussing how D.W. Griffith and Lois Weber used the various points of view available in film in order to convey emotion in ways that were not possible in other mediums. The Blot is a 1921 feature film directed by Lois Weber about a poor family and a rich young man who learns of their troubles and wants to help them out, changing his personality in the process, from being an arrogant and self-confident student to an accomplished writer and activist who is considerate and patient. His transformation begins when he meets Amelia at her job in the library, Amelia Griggs. He is stricken with love and wants to spend more time with her. He offers to drive her home in the rain. Juanita, Phil's prior love interest, sees this offer of kindness and is made quite jealous by it. How does Lois Weber just accentuate this emotion of jealousy? By showing two close-ups of Juanita. One before Amelia is revealed as a subject of Phil's interest, where she looks a bit stressed but smiles in knowing Phil is hers. And after Amelia is revealed, where she looks more upset. The acting is subtle, but you see a slight smile in the first shot and none in the next shot. And this was really only the beginning of Weber's standout close-ups. In the very next scene, we see close-ups of Phil's point of view, looking at the tattered, cheap gloves and the shoes that Amelia wears. The focus on these subjects, given our knowledge that Phil is a wealthy man, and his reaction of a slight frown, is all we need to know that Phil is feeling pity for Amelia's economic position. The sharp cuts between Phil looking at Amelia and the tattered clothing she wears is enough to clue us in that he is looking at her, and this isn't just a random close-up of her shoes and gloves. Phil is concerned with Amelia's financial situation, a pivotal plot point in the film being his eventual journey against the Blot, that teachers are severely underpaid. It's not necessary for Phil to say anything or even do much more than a slight frown. The close-up is plenty to establish his concern. Lois Weber's The Blot is, simply put, a masterclass in subtlety. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have D.W. Griffith's The Birth of a Nation, a film primarily about the rise of the KKK. And I want to be clear, when I say it does the opposite of The Blot, I don't mean that in a bad way, it's just something I prefer less from a visual storytelling standpoint. But close-ups in Birth of a Nation are rare if they ever happen, and even when they do, facial expressions and body language are played to great extremes. Take, for instance, the scene where Silas Lynch, the film's antagonist, is promoted to lieutenant governor. The filmmakers want to convey their message to the audience that black people having rights is actually a bad thing. So to convey this, Griffith plays up emotions tenfold. Austin Stoneman, the unelecting Lynch, hams up his performance by making these big O faces, narrowing his eyebrows, wide hand gestures, hitting the ground with his cane. And the black woman outside is excited for his development, and to convey that, she breathes heavily, holds her hand to her chest, widens her eyes, smiles widely, and shakes. Her reaction is almost feral, which may have been the intention of the filmmakers to further portray black people as evil and animal-like. But no matter what the intention of the exaggerating acting is, it's clear that it's an artifact from the medium of theater, without many close-ups. Most shots just show the whole room, and characters who are more or less the same distance from the camera as in every other shot of the film. Again, this is not meant to be derogatory, as many of these exaggerated acting sequences are entertaining, like how Silas Lynch acts like an animated Disney villain at times. Rather than a difference in quality, distinction is more so exemplary of a distance in time period. Even just in 6 short years, Lois Weber redefines what it means to show emotion on the silver screen, doing it in a new and more streamlined way than Griffith's and Méliès and Lumiere's before her.